So today we're going to be looking through the replays of a recent ranked solos ladder that I've been playing through, and we're going to review the games and see what I could have done better. I made it through to the semifinals pretty easily, but then in the semifinals I did not perform as well as I would have liked, and I did not make it onto the finals. So we're going to watch those games through, and we're going to see what I could have done better. Alright, so starting off with game one, I'm landing Camp Cod, the east building, or Jules building. Speed up my landing a little bit here. Alright, I know that I have people with me, but I have a pretty good drop. I'm pretty confident I have the best drop here. Looks like there were two other people with me. Alright, so I do have best drop. I get the chest. Someone lands on me, I shoot him a couple times, and then they just jump to their death because they're nervous. Alright, so that was an easy off-spawn fight. Someone also lands and takes my boat, which isn't ideal. But other than that, there's just one guy at main building I need to be worried about. I'm probably not too worried about boat guy. I think I tag him up a little bit for storm surge. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll wrap it. Alright, skipping ahead, I've made it into stealthy. I have good positioning in zone 3. I'm just about center zone. This is good. And I'm refarming my brick. I didn't get back to max, but I did decent. I get zone 4 here because I was center of zone 3, and then I end up building a little more into the center of zone 4. That wasn't really necessary. No, it definitely wasn't necessary, because zone 4 is half and half, so there's no reason to build more into the center. That's something I could have saved one full extra box's worth of mats if I didn't build one more box in here. Right, so half and half pulls far, but I have a pretty free rotate. I've been scouting. I use these builds as cover. Got up my left right there. Yep. Get tagged up a little bit. He's pushing me, but he get my wall, and he gives it up, so I'm able to make it into zone relatively freely. I'll be at full health. I use a little more mats than I'm used to, but it's good. One thing I'll notice here is that I had to box up pretty near the edge of this zone because I was in a fight. Ideally, I move further into the zone because once everyone moves into this half and half zone, if you can see my cursor here down at the bottom right, there's going to be a huge bunch up of people right where the zone was not in the storm. So it's very ideal to get deeper into this zone so that no matter where next zone pulls, you're on the dead side where there will be way less people as opposed to where I am where there's people all around me. I see someone right here boxing up ahead of me. I know you can't see them, but they built a box over my cone. So what I do is I jump through, get the quick kill on them, pretty easy. And I have a decent spot for this next zone, even though I was on the congested side. So this should be an easy rotate, but I believe I die on this rotate, so we'll have to see what I do. That cone's not mine, and it's wood. That might be an issue. Okay, fix that. Alright, making good rotates. I decided to go through that metal there. I'm not really sure. So I think my real issue there was just not blocking off the back of my tarp well enough. I got snuck up on and just dominated by Woo Dylan because I didn't block off the back of my tarp well enough. So this is game 2 of the KNG semis. The off spawn was pretty uneventful. I landed Camp Cod again, and I wasn't contested by the guy who contested me first game because I killed him, so he decided not to come back. And as you can see, the zone didn't move very far, so it was pretty easy rotates up into this zone. Right now I'm positioned on the side of Weather Station Mountain, which is a decent spot to be. It's relative high ground. It is going to be the more congested side of this zone, but if I pull half in, half out, it's going to be a great area to look for picks on. And it was really the best spot based on where I rotated from, which is Back Mountains East. I'm being pushed here a little bit. There's someone on top of me, but he doesn't seem too interested in fighting. I'm above Storm Surge, but not by much. So I'm looking for little picks just in case I dip under. Only 2 people need to die though, so I'll likely be okay. Looks like the zone pulled a little further north of my position. So I start rotating in, trying to use wood to be cheap. I get shot in the back there, so I was going to go up a layer, but I let him go. The building here is a little shaky, but I make it in, and I build an all-metal. Again, this seems like a recurring theme. I shouldn't have just gotten into zone. I should have built further in, and possibly into storm, right? So that I can have an area where other people won't be. Otherwise, they'll just be layered on top of me and below me whenever they make it into storm, into the circle. So here I'm definitely looking for surge tags because I know I probably need some. Pulls far. Now I'm in a decent area for this pull, luckily. But I die on this same rotate again, game 2. So we'll see where I go wrong here. I think my first mistake here is staying right where I am and not trying to move just a little further in while I can. Alright, so it's a pretty clear path right here. I just need to stick to this far east side here. A real issue is that I don't have anything around me, but now I own this. Okay, so that's good. It takes me a while to get from here. So, right here I moved a little too far to my right. Also, I took that fight with a terrible peek when I shouldn't have. So, that's two things. One, I moved a little too far to my right. I should have kept trying to hug the edge as much as possible. And two, when that guy boxed me unexpectedly, I just took the fight even though I was at a bad angle. What I should have done was try to break out of that box or break the wall as soon as he edited the window in it. I should not have just taken the bad angle fight right there. So this is game 3. Game 3, I got beat for my drop, so I had to do a different kind of drop near disco, and because of that, I end up with pretty bad weapons, a pretty bad loadout. So here I am. I made it into third circle with my not great loadout, and I'm hiding in a bush. Ideally here, I make it a little further towards center zone. I'm playing right on edge. Ideally, I try to get a little further center. I believe because I was being chased a bit, I decided to stay here, which is fine. I just didn't see a path in. I'm not quite sure how I get further in, but ideally I get further into zone here. Alright, so this guy's gonna come up to me. 13, because bad weapons. If I had a better weapon, that would have been a 1 pump. So, this is interesting. I actually get the kill. I kill this guy, but I get shot in the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to drone free this. How do I raise it? And we're going to watch that happen and see what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong because I already looked at this, but just to make sure that everyone here knows, we all know. Oh, look. He's boxing up. I'm right here. I'm taking him out, but look, my back is open. There's a guy right here. I knew that I was edge zone, right? And I knew that the entire zone was behind me. So I took this guy. I can easily win the fight. I would have beat him. All I have to do here is build a wall behind me. That's all I have to do. And I don't die, and I get a kill, and possibly a free resh. I mean, yeah. Right, so for the 4th out of 5 games here, I switch up my drop spot. I start landing Fort Crumpet. I prefer Fort Crumpet. And I checked the VOD of the previous game after I died because I died a little early there. And I saw no one landing here, and previously I had thought it was heavily contested, so I thought, alright, well, this is my preferred drop spot anyway, and it's uncontested. I will switch to this drop spot. As we can see, I actually do end up getting contested, which is fine. Probably someone doing exactly what I was doing, just saw that it was uncontested and said, oh, you know what, that's free, let me land there. I get a decent shotgun, so I go ahead and push the fight right away, especially because I don't think he has anything. And I get the win mostly because I had that right-hand peek to start off the fight, and I had just had the better weapon for that fight. It was close. Closer than I'd like. Ideally, I would have got a shot through that window when I was coming through on him. If I had a pump type shotgun, I would have done that. But I had the what's it called, the drum shotty here. So I just wanted to make sure that I got up close and personal with it in order to use the gun. We're in third zone, in a decent spot, relatively center, but I see myself on congested side for some reason. I don't like that I keep ending up on congested side. It probably makes the rotates to next zones much harder. That being said, as long as I'm center enough, look, I get zone. So I have fourth zone. I don't need to move here because being center doesn't necessarily help. It might be nice, if you can see in the bottom right, to move somewhere in this area, right? So maybe I should think about that, but in the spirit of mat conservation and the fact that I'm already in a decent spot, I stayed here. And I guess we'll see how that works out. We'll see if that was the right play or not. By the way, I love looking through the cone for a lot more information. I noticed that if I'm just sitting on a ramp and looking through the cone, I can see a lot, but I definitely can't see as much. And if I'm just sitting around doing nothing, all this information that I'm gathering that unfortunately we can't see in replay mode is very valuable. Alright, so I didn't quite get zone, but I have an easy-ish rotate here. So I start rotating in. This is an example of, hey, I'm on this congested side. Maybe it would have been better to try and get to the more dead side a little bit. If I was there, I would have had a little bit better time, but this rotates pretty easy anyway, luckily. Ooh, what I really don't like here, look at where I am on this map. I got right in, and I boxed up. That probably is a big reason why I had trouble later. I got right here, I boxed up. Ideally, I try and get into the area that's in storm. Just get one full box in storm, right? And you can have one out of storm. But you want to get as deep into this zone as possible so that when all these players get up in here, and you can probably see the route they're all going to take. They're all going to follow pretty much the same route I took, just behind me. So when they get in there, I'm ahead, I'm in an uncontested area, and they're all boxed up and on top of each other right in this area, and a lot of them right where I am right here. I think that's what's about to happen. So that's something in my gameplay I've seen a couple times. Just get deeper into the zone. Don't settle for boxing up right on edge, right where everyone else is going to need to come anyway. Yeah, so I spent all this time like creating these two boxes because I like being in a double box. It feels safer here. When in reality, yeah, I even triple box because I think I noticed I wasn't far enough in, but at this point it's too late. At this point I either tunnel further in, which is a waste of materials, or I'm stuck in the area where I'm at. Up my wall, I get it. I put the wall up top to kind of prevent hitting my cone, and I take that ramp. So successfully stopped them from pushing me there. That was good. I hear more people. I'm trying to get a little bit of info on what's going on. And if I can just reiterate, I'm pausing it. Look at where everyone is, right? If I had built a little bit into zone, I would be over here, right? That's where you want to be. No one's there. But here I am boxed up, over, and under, 37, 36 other players, all right here. Big mistake. If I made a little bit of a better rotate there, and I had the best rotate, I added the earliest rotate. If I made a little bit of a deeper rotate there, I might be in a better situation right now. Zone pulls right back, almost right back. But there are a lot of people in this congested area here, so I'm making a rotate through their builds, which might not be the best, or might have been the best. Let's try to get as far east as possible. Alright, I get a little contested there, so I have to come back. Someone shoots at it, but I still need to layer change, so make it weird. Now you go up one more layer. That was perfect. There I dropped. I don't know why. I probably should have stayed on that layer. I went from a good layer change down to a bad one. But here I go to ultimate low, which was a better layer change. Okay. My big issue on this rotate, you'll see it in a second, is I get up, but I don't get high enough. I sit right here for too long. I don't know if I think I thought I was already in, and I didn't really understand how high it was going to go. And that's just me reading the map wrong, but I should have stayed there forever. And then because of that, I get in this weird position. Shot in the back there because I'm hiding under people's builds. So that was hesitation and not changing my level high enough, quick enough, in order to avoid that. That was, I think, my best game. It was a top 20, but it was certainly not a perfect game. I could have done so much better. That would have put me in a better position to win. And finally, my last game, my last semifinal game was a rough game as well. Probably one of the reasons why I didn't do well was how I played this game right here. You can see the rotate I make is not the best. So, the gentleman that I killed last game at Fort Crumpet, he just pushed up to Fort Crumpet and I saw him. And I figured the only reason he came was because he was pissed off I killed him last game. So I got a little nervous and I made a direct cut into zone here. Instead of taking the wide angle and looping up around coral, which is what I would normally do and which is the preferred rotate in here. So instead I take this direct route, which isn't terrible, but it's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to take a second and craft, do a pump here. Alright, so that's the first issue with this game is I don't take the best rotate possible. I don't wrap around towards dead side. I just come straight in. Now is this going to be super congested? No. But it's not the best. And it leads to a confrontation I have in just a minute. So this guy's coming in the car. I whiff every shot. I don't really want to fight. I was just trying to get tags for Surge, and I didn't tag him once, so I don't want to fight. I'll just keep backing off. He gets in the car again. And I say, alright, well, you know what? Maybe I'll be able to tag him up. Oh, I hear the car stop. So I know he's not moving. He might be farming, or he might be trying to push me. He's in the car again. Alright. I get 236 tags off on him. I still don't push it, which I believe is the right move. I don't really want this fight, I just want the tags. But you'll see here, I think he gets a little upset that I tagged him up, and he decides he needs to push. Which is the wrong play, but solos is an emotional game. Sometimes these kids get emotional. Alright, so I double box. I just say, alright, I'll play defensive. He gets my cone right away. Does he have that wall? He gets that wall right away, so he's getting everything from me. Big zero hit. Yeah. So, let me watch that from his perspective. So he's in that box, gets my wall, comes out. He owned that floor already. When did he take that floor? So he's upset. He's pushing me. Doo-doo is pushing me, or Dodo. Alright. He owns cone. He owns that wall. That's when he puts the floors out there. And I made the mistake of boxing up right into his floor, and I didn't notice that it was his. Okay. So that's awareness. That he shouldn't have picked that fight with me, and I was fine to do the little tags. But once he did, I needed to be aware that he had already piece controlled my roof there. I was lucky he didn't double piece control it. I would have been quick dead. But yeah, so I need to be a little more aware. Possibly there, I could have tried to run from the fight instead of just boxing up. But either or, I could have avoided this death here, and this is a pretty early death, a pretty bad game, and it was my last game, my last chance to get back into top 25 so that I could qualify for finals. So this game right here, this mistake, this fight mid-game, which I almost never try to take fights mid-game, is the reason why I didn't make it to finals. Well, there are a lot of reasons, but this is the most current reason, the one where, okay, the last game didn't go well, there's no chance now. I think I was sitting in like 30th before this game, and I definitely was not moving up with this.